Mm. Mm. Good day, everyone. I come in a little early so I can set everything up. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about this one for so many reasons. But please start sharing. Um, I'm going to try to do this. I'm going to give myself 2 hours or less. Hey, Godmom. So I'm going to have a couple of friends come through here, be in my VIP room to deal with the comments because I'm going to have to stay focused on this one. And I won't be able to see y'all comments, but they'll probably read it out to me. But let me start sharing. Please share because I'm limited in sharing. This is going to be a Shero. This person is still living, and try to honor them. Hold on one second. Let me stay focused here. Lose my concentration. But what I'm going to be doing is having background speeches of this particular person so that you guys can hear while I am looking. I got 3 phones going on here that I'm operating from. Hold on. Just come in and appreciate the artistry. And once I'm done, I'm going to get dressed and then show you the picture and try to position my eyes and my lips to be like this particular person. Okay. Let's see. Got one more share. Where did I stop? Okay. I think I already shared with these people. They probably say, why is she sending me another? Now I got one more to go. Let me go to the purple. I appreciate y'all for sharing, coming in, being patient. Get you something to drink, something to eat. All right, let me set up my audio. I'm looking for Beth. Let's see. I'll go ahead. Nancy, you want to come in my live? So, how y'all guys doing? It's right time, huh? But, okay. let me know y'all can hear.
Reverend Williams is the host of a weekly religious
Can you
program
hear?
on this station entitled Vibrations for a New People. Because of their friendship, Miss Davis asked to appear on Vibrations, and in so doing granted the first American broadcast interview since her arrest in connection with the August 7th, 1970 shootout at the Marin County Courthouse. Her pre-trial procedures have taken the longest time of any California trial in history. Throughout those 13 months, there have developed charges that she's a political prisoner. Because of this, she's drawn international attention and has become one of the central figures in a very large and militant movement reflecting the concerns of oppressed minorities. We're presenting this program at this special time because people of all persuasions from all parts of the country and the world have come to regard Miss Davis in strong terms. Most have formed these opinions in favor or against her without ever being exposed to her writing, her teaching, or other personal statements. If this program results in nothing more than better informed but unchanged opinion, it will have been worth our attention. And one final note. While this conversation was filmed in the jail where she awaits her trial, the discussion in no way touches upon matters directly related to Miss Davis's trial. It was filmed under specific guidelines and viewed by the attorneys involved in the trial. This represents further programming in connection with the various aspects of Angela Davis's involvement in the controversial militant minority movement.
Well, we're going to rap a little while about a number of things, but I guess one of the most important things that we can start off talking about is the fact that you have been called a revolutionary, a militant. Much of the media has pictured you this way. It's talked about all over the world. What do you see as the meaning of the term revolutionary?
Well, there's no single, simple meaning of the term revolutionary. A revolutionary is a man or a woman who is a lot of things, but basically, the revolutionary wants to change the nature of society in a way to promote a world where the needs and interests of the people are responded to. A revolutionary realizes, however, that in order to create a world where human beings can live and love and be healthy and create, you have to completely revolutionize the entire fabric of society. You have to overturn the economic structure where you have a few individuals who are in possession of the vast majority of the wealth in this country that's been produced by the majority of the people, and you have to destroy this political apparatus which, under the guise of revolutionary government, perpetrates the most incredible misery on the masses of people.
One of the interesting things about the term revolutionary is the fact that people, so many people, see it in the context of violence, that revolutionary means violence. Violence every day, every minute, at any given time, no matter what the circumstances. How do you view this in the context of violence?
Well, of course, that's part and parcel of the same attempt to separate and isolate revolutionaries from the people. Of course, revolution does not mean violence in the sense that that's its defining characteristic.
Yet there are those who see it that way.
Well, that's done in a very conscious manner to mislead people and to lead people to, for instance, equate a progressive socialist revolution with fascism. During the time that I was out in the streets and speaking throughout California, I found it incredible how many people defined socialism or communism as if it were the Third Reich.
Yeah.
Certainly, of course, so in the history of revolutions, and not only socialist revolutions, but bourgeois democratic revolutions also. The American Revolution, for instance, you have had the occurrence of violence as a means of seizing power from the oppressor. But why?
Yeah.
This is because the oppressors have failed to acknowledge the fact that the people were right and that the people had the right to control their lives and to control their destinies. And they are the ones who always initiate the violence. If people are serious about moving ahead to create a better society, then of course they should not allow themselves to be deterred simply because a few people at the top who are in possession usually of a monopoly on violence decide that they're going to unleash all of their forces of oppression to stop them.
Angela, the interesting thing I think that's emerged is your struggle with the Soledad brothers and your struggle with the Soledad trial. How did you get involved in this whole area of demonstrating and of speaking and of organizing for the Soledad brothers?
When a trip to the hospital or pharmacy leads to a bill no one saw coming, we're here to help. Your health insurance provider is working every day with hospitals and drug companies so families can get the care they need at prices they can afford.
Speaking and of organizing for the Soledad brothers.
I was invited in the spring of 1970 to attend a meeting that had been organized by some of the attorneys involved in the Soledad Brothers case. The meeting was held in Los Angeles. I attended that meeting, and there I assumed the responsibility for doing a certain amount of organizing, primarily on the campuses, because I was at UCLA at the time, to inform the people as to what was happening to George Jackson, John Clichet, and Fleeta Drumgo.
How this affected you a great deal because you participated very strongly in it. You became extremely close to one of the participants of the Soledad Brothers, namely George Jackson. What was George Jackson really like?
Well, I became very close to the members of George's family in the process of trying to organize around the Soledad Brothers Defense Committee, all of George's family, Jonathan, Mrs. Jackson, Mr. Jackson, and George and Jonathan's sisters, who were all extremely beautiful and extremely strong people. They were all involved in the political activity around the case. I did come to have a certain amount of contact, primarily indirect, of course, with George. The only time I saw him was at a hearing I attended in Salinas. But it was almost impossible not to see the strength and the love that George Jackson had within himself, a love that expressed itself in a million different ways, a love for his people, a love for oppressed people, a love for all the people with whom he had any contact. All he used to call them all the innocents, all the people who had not already actively aligned themselves with the forces of oppression.
I remember reading one of his letters. In fact, I read his book, but one of the letters where he said that he had no self, he had no image, he had no ears, no eyes. He went on to talk about this, but some of the most interesting letters were the ones that you and George exchanged. They were very moving letters. You've undoubtedly had some kind of understanding as people who were struggling together Well, were there some common strings there that in the struggle that you felt very strongly about, you and George?
Well, George was a revolutionary. George considered himself a communist revolutionary. And he felt that his revolutionary beliefs and the struggles that he had to wage were far more important than his own life. That's why he spent 11 years in prison for a crime that was,
what was it,
so
$70?
insignificant. $70. And if he had had at that time a good lawyer, and if racism had not been what it was, he never would have been in prison in the first place. And that's what was so ridiculous about it. But it was not, I don't think that I would say that George was lacking in a personal image. That was one of the things that was so beautiful and so incredible about him, that he was able to perfectly merge his political life with his personal life. There was no conflict between the two, and the one was very much enhanced by the other. Within his political struggles, there was a very profound personal love and identity and solidarity with all his sisters and brothers, with all his comrades. Then every personal relationship he had was determined by and infused with the struggle for liberation.
The interesting thing about it is the fact that George Jackson was killed August 21st. And at that particular time, we saw some new directions occur in the prison system. For instance, there was the Attica, there was San Quentin. How do you perceive the penal institutions at this particular time in regards to what they call rehabilitation and other directions that they may be taking now that the death of George has occurred and Attica has broken loose and possibly other prisons as well?
Get premium tax filing without the premium price tag at freetaxusa.com. Our free federal service includes e-filing to the IRS and all the tax forms you need. Other services only support simple tax
as well.
Well, things have been festering under the surface in the prison system for a long time. In fact, when I became involved with the Soledad Brothers Defense Committee in Los Angeles, at first we simply took it upon ourselves to defend George Jackson, John Clouchet, and Fleta Drumgo. But we later realized that the question was much broader than that. It wasn't simply a matter of three individuals who were being subject to the repressive forces of the penal system. It was the system itself that had to be attacked. It was the system itself that had to be abolished. So that we eventually broadened the field of our activities to include an assault on the prison system as a whole.
Well, what you're strongly implying, I gather, then, is that the character of justice is not really changing that much, even though recently we've seen Bobby Seale, Erica Huggins, Huey Newton just recently, who have been freed. Is the character of justice really changing that much?
Well, what is justice? I mean, what does justice mean? Does justice simply mean that a person who has been charged with a crime is going to be acquitted? I mean, that's what happened, of course, to Erica and Bobby and Huey and the New York 21, and partially in the case of the LA Panthers, who were just recently on trial. They were acquitted, or the charges dismissed against them, but that appears to me to be a purely formalistic view of what justice is. Empty. It has no content. If you can pick out someone, single a black person, a black revolutionary out, charge him with an unbailable offense, put him or her in jail for 2 years,
I'm tired.
2.5 years is in the case of the New York 21.
But I'm here.
And then afterwards, get up with the case that you have that doesn't have any border at all. And have the jury acquit them. Is that what justice is all? They've lost years of their life. See, what has happened in those cases is that the black revolutionary leaders have been effectively silenced. They have been separated from their people, isolated from the community for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years.
You see, this is a contrived, calculated effort on the part of the powers to be, the ruling class, to make sure that they are separated from their people.
Well, see, there are a lot of ways in which repression can express itself. It does not necessarily mean being shot down. It does not even necessarily mean being sentenced to prison. It can mean being detained for so long that one cannot be effective in the community. It can mean being forced into exile, as Eldridge Cleaver was forced into exile, and we see what has happened to Eldridge and what his exile has meant for his ability to be effective in the black liberation struggle. Here, there are a myriad of ways in which you can repress a developing liberation movement.
I guess the thing that concerns me very much has to do with those unnamed blacks, Chicanos, Asians, Indians, poor people who go to the courts every day, who are sentenced. And in fact, we don't read about them. We don't know about them. They are imprisoned. It's like, as someone suggested some time ago, that so many people in prison did not really have the kind of adequate defense, legal counsel that they needed. Time after time, we have been told that people who are going before the courts have been told to plead guilty, and they'd only get 3 months. And of course, this meant an extensive amount of time in prison. But I've heard you talk about the nameless prisoners who have no recourse because they did not have adequate representation.
One of the things that is so incredible, and I don't imagine that most people are aware of this fact. I myself wasn't aware of it until recently. Of all the people who are arrested in this country and charged with crimes, only 1% are ever tried by a jury. Only 1% are ever tried by a jury. Which means that the vast majority of people in this country who are brought before a court either end up pleading guilty on the advice of a public defender who doesn't have the time, who does not identify with his client, who has the interests of an overcrowded court system uppermost in his mind. He counsels him to plead guilty, and as you said, he tries to make a deal. Sometimes that doesn't work.
I wonder, do you really see this as a means of committing engaging in a contrived effort on the part of those who make the decisions of eliminating black people? Is this a form of suppression also? To make sure, in other words, that black people are railroaded into prisons, into jail?
In the whole history of the United States, the impact of racism has been to attempt to contain black people, has been to attempt to stifle the desires towards liberation. One of the ways in which this is accomplished is by trying to convince black people that they're completely powerless before this huge apparatus, and that the police can just come into the community and pick someone out, kill them, as they have done on many, many occasions in the past, charge them with something they didn't do, railroad them to prison, send them to the gas chamber. This is just one of the many ways that the system, and it's not a contrived effort in the sense that it's done consciously by a few men up at the top. It's built into the system. It's built into it's built into the nature of the society. And getting back back to the question of what a revolutionary is. Black revolutionary realizes that we cannot begin to combat racism. We cannot begin to effectively destroy racism until we've destroyed the whole system.
If you're serious about becoming a trader, not just dabbling, this is where you start.
Trade with the Pros runs live in...
Now, I guess the amazing thing is that we noticed that in the state of California they have what is called the indeterminate sentencing of prisoners. The adult authority has the power to determine when a person is paroled, what time that person is paroled, if in fact that person is paroled. I know I talked to a number of prisoners who've said this is another means set up by a racist system to control the affairs and the destiny of black people. Do you see this as a certain direction of providing controls on the lives of those prisoners who are in prison?
Well, see, it's interesting that when the indeterminate sentence law was first enacted, it was presented as one of the most progressive reforms in the prison system. That's one of the reasons, among many others, that California today is ironically considered to be the most progressive section of the American penal system. Originally, or at least it was stated that originally the purpose of the indeterminate sentence law was to allow for the greatest flexibility in rehabilitation. That meant that if a prisoner was, say, charged or convicted of an offense that carried, say, a straight 10-year sentence, he would not get 10 years, but he might get, say, 2 to 15, because it's possible that in 2 years he might have, quote, rehabilitated himself. And it would have been overly inhuman to force him to spend 8 more years in prison. But how is this function in reality? In reality, the indeterminate sentence law has done precisely what you say it has done. It has provided an effective, very brutal means of control over the lives of sisters and brothers who are in prison. What does this mean? It means that there's an 8-man board.
Composed of,
and I was just looking at this paper that was done on prisons not too long ago. It gives a rundown on who's on the adult authority. And it says that the 6 whites on the panel, and check this out, include a former assistant commander of the Los Angeles Police Department Detective Bureau, a former FBI agent in charge of the San Francisco office, a former deputy United States attorney for the Southern District of California, a former district attorney for Fresno, a former police chief of Richmond, California, and a former prison guard at Chino. Now, there's one black man on the adult authority now. However, he was a former civil servant in the prison system. There's one Chicano. However, he was also in the prison system before he was appointed. Now, what does this mean? This means that they're ex-police, ex-agents, ex-prosecutors, all of whom have come from a background which is directly opposed to the prisoner. And of course they're going to take the side of the system. They're going to take the side that's directly opposed to the interests of the prisoners. And these people have the right to set a date, a parole date for prisoners. Certainly, and of course now with the increased surge of political activity and with the increasingly aggressive posture that prisoners are assuming in prison, the indeterminate sentence is used as a form of retaliation. It's used as a form of repression because prisoners are either told or else they realize that they continue to engage in any kind of political activity, they aren't going to get a date.
How do you get two burning questions in at one time? You know, when they're coming in my head right now, and I want to get them in at the same time. I'll try one first. It had been suggested by the executive director of the Correctional Institutions of California that lobotomies, that brain surgery, be used on those inmates who have violent tendencies. Also, we know that at two institutions like Tascadera and also Vacaville, certain drugs have been used on prisoners. This trend, we know, has taken place, and yet there was also a very strong suggestion by the executive director that lobotomies be engaged in.
What does that sound like, and what does that remind you of? It evokes in my mind all of the horrors of Nazi Germany, all of the experiments that were done in the concentration camps. People who accuse us when we say that there are very definite fascist tendencies in America today ought to think for a moment when the director of the Department of Corrections can get up and suggest that human beings have brain surgery to prevent them from feeling, to prevent them from reacting. Because what does a lobotomy do?
Yeah, I understand that it damages the front section of the brain.
It destroys it
through,
yes. By means of attaching electrodes to the brain. It destroys very vital sections of the brain. I think, of course, I'm not a doctor, but from what I've learned, once you receive this lobotomy, you become practically a vegetable. Of course, they maintain that it prevents the patient from being aggressive and violent. But what they're really talking about is stifling the political militancy that exists on the inside of the prison.
Yeah, I understand that lobotomies have been used, and this is undoubtedly well-founded, to suppress pain.
Switch to TurboTax. File free in the app by 2/28.
Suppress pain.
You know, I really believe they would have actually initiated this policy of brain surgery had not there been the kind of reaction that there was. Probably the way the news leaked out was an attempt to test what public reaction was going to be like. And had it not been what it was, more than likely a whole series of those kinds of experiments would have been initiated. But there's something that has not received very widespread publicity, and that is the use of these drugs in Vacaville and Tascadera that you were talking about before. Apparently the drug that is most widely used is called a nectine, and it is used in what they call aversion treatment.
Yes, that's right.
Isn't that the term that they
aversion
use?
Treatment, right.
To avert the prisoner from any kind of assertive activity. From what I've read, the experience of taking that drug is so frightening and so horrible. Apparently, when they administer it, it causes for a period of about 60 seconds the sensation of dying. It completely arrests the...
So like suffocation.
You feel like you're suffocating, you feel like you're drowning, you feel like you're dying. Then, apparently, there's a psychiatrist who sits next to you and discusses what you've done. It's used as a disciplinary measure, and that the next time you get ready to strike out at a guard or do whatever you're charged with doing, you think about what it feels like, because you're going to be injected with some more of this nectine. That's what they really tell them. And I can imagine that once a person goes through that kind of experience, the actual sensation of dying, it is going to begin to affect the mind. And you see, I think that we have to look at what's going on in the prisons today in that respect as being a signal of what might possibly come in the society as a whole. No, I think that it is probably a truism by now that in any given society, what goes on in the prisons reflects very important elements of the society as a whole, and that you can learn something about the nature of the society by looking at what happens behind its walls, among its captives.
Yeah. Perhaps one of the critical questions for the use of nectine as well as lobotomies has to do with who gives the proper consent for a person. Does the person himself or herself, who's the prisoner or the inmate, give proper consent, a volunteer for that?
Well, that's what they say. They say that this drug is used on an entirely voluntary basis. But what does that mean to a woman or to a man who's in prison? They know, and the prison officials know, that if they fail to submit to this kind of drug treatment, this is just going to be one more strike held against them. And we get back to the indeterminate sentence.
Yeah.
Because many of them are on indeterminate sentences, and every time there's a strike against them on their record, this is given to the adult authority, and therefore their sentence is prolonged.
It seems to me there's another thing also, Angela, and it has to do with the selection of persons. You know, if, in fact, it's done for psychiatric reasons, who selects the persons who have the district?
Yeah. You know what's happening now. Reagan, of course, just recently talked about abolishing San Quentin, right? What they're doing at this moment is that these so-called violent inmates, and almost inevitably, when they talk about violent inmates, they're talking about political activists in prisons. They are being transferred from San Quentin, from Soledad, from Folsom, which are the three major maximum security prisons in California. They're being transferred to Vacaville. And I don't think it's coincidental that these kinds of things are happening in Vacaville. They're sending them down there now, supposedly for psychiatric observation. They're going to be there for 6 months. Then they send them back, and they send another group in.
Maybe this is the selective process then that they're talking about.
I don't think it's coincidental that these two things are happening at the same time. And there's probably a lot of other things which are going on now too that we just don't know about, simply because it's so difficult for prisoners to get news out to the people.
Angela, there's something that's taking place in the prisons. There's an awareness that's taking place. But we've heard the term political prisoner emerge in the last few years very strongly. What is a political prisoner? Are there different levels of political prisoners?
Well, of course, throughout the history of the world, there have been political prisoners.
Here's something the car insurance companies don't want you to know. If you've been injured in a car accident, the insurance companies are...
We could even talk about Socrates, who was also a political prisoner. But getting into the contemporary situation, I think that many people have failed to see that the political prisoner is not only Bobby Seale or Erica Huggins or Huey Newton or the Soledad brothers. There are scores of thousands of unnamed political prisoners who are now being held captive in this country. I would say that I can lay out perhaps about 4 different categories of political prisoners. The first one is, of course, the political prisoner, the sister or the brother, who's in prison purely because of his or her ideas and political activities in the struggle for liberation. the crime with which that person is charged is almost inevitably a pretext for assaulting that person for his political beliefs. That would be the first kind of political prisoner. Then, of course, there's a political prisoner who, in a sense, has done what he or she is charged with by the authorities. And I can think of examples throughout the history of this country. Yet, I should point out that although he or she has probably done the thing for which the charge has been lodged against him, it's not the same, it's not a crime in the sense that the system defines it as a crime. Nat Turner, for instance, was such a political prisoner. He was charged and he was hanged for murder. But of course, from our perspective as black people, he was a valiant fighter for the liberation of slaves. And therefore, when he fought back, and when he led a slave uprising, we would not call that murder. It is murder only from the point of view of the a system which is trying to continue to oppress and enslave the people who are fighting back. Then, of course, there are all of the, I could give you a number of examples of that type of political prisoner, but I'll go on to the next level. And that, for this, we have to go inside the walls of the dungeons, and we see thousands and thousands of sisters and brothers who have actually been, well, they have been arrested and convicted of offenses which don't necessarily have political contours, but once they get into prison and once they become aware of all of the currents and passions of black liberation and the struggle for freedom for all people, they become aware of what it is that led them to commit those offenses in the first place. They therefore transform themselves into political beings and become active behind the walls and are therefore subject to retaliation by the prison authorities. And we could talk about Ruchell McGee, we could talk about George Jackson, Fleta Drumgo, John Clouchet, and there's one brother whom we haven't heard that much about, and I think it's very important to talk about him at this point. His name is Robert Wesley Wells.
He's been in for quite some time, hasn't he?
He's 62 years old now. He's been in for over 40 years. He was convicted of stealing a car and has been in for over 40 years. Apparently, Robert Wesley Wells was and continues to be the type of black man who will not allow himself to be dehumanized, who will not kowtow to prison officials, and who asserts his rights as a black man. Apparently, the Attorney General of California wrote a letter to the adult authority saying that they did not want a sentence set, a determinate sentence set for Robert Wells. They wanted the adult authority to leave it open because they knew that at some point, he had an indeterminate sentence, by the way, we were talking about that before. They knew, they said, that at some point, Wesley Wells was going to become involved with a guard and might possibly assault a guard. Then they could use this other horrible law that they have on the books in the state of California, which makes the death penalty mandatory for a prisoner who assaults a non-inmate. This letter is on file. I was informed of the existence of this letter by Wesley Wells' attorney. Sure enough, he was provoked into a confrontation with the guard, at that time through a cuspidor, which hit the wall and ricocheted and hit the guard's head. It drew a little blood. However, the guard was back to work in about a week or so. Robert Wesley Wells was then charged with 4,500 and received the death penalty. Charles Gary was his attorney. Leo Brandt, who was my attorney now, was also working on the case. With the help of a mass movement on the outside during the 40s, this is towards the end of the 40s, the death sentence was commuted, but it was commuted to life without possibility of parole. And to this date, the only way...
Behind every healthcare statistic is a person's face, paying the price. Big Pharma just...
And to this date, the only way that Wesley Wells can ever get out of jail, the only way that he's going to avoid dying behind the walls of San Quentin or Soledad or some other prison in the state is if Ronald Reagan would grant him executive clemency. Of course, we know what Ronald Reagan is like, and we know that he's not about to make that kind of a gesture. Yet, I think that it's going to be extremely important for all of us to try to mount a campaign and force Reagan to let Wesley Wells out of prison.
Rochelle McGee went through some trying times. He's been in now some 16 or 17 years, hasn't he? In his sentencing in Los Angeles, he, I think, has been in San Quentin now some 8 years. A very brilliant man, I must say. In many regards, he's certainly spoken out. Rochelle McGee will be, I guess, one who will find himself in similar circumstances, who has found himself in similar circumstances.
I think, is a very, very beautiful man and is a kind of a symbol of what black people have been forced to experience in America. He was charged with this case of rape, and we know about all of it.
That was in Louisiana, I think, as I recall.
We know about all of our brothers who've gone to their death and have spent large portions of their life in prison because they happened to look in the direction of a white woman. Rochelle is another very shining example, like George and like Wesley Wells, and like I could go on to infinity, of sisters and brothers in prison who achieve the most remarkable heights of consciousness and commit themselves to struggling for the liberation of their people. And because they do this, they are the ones on whom the repressive might of the prison system comes down so strongly.
Angela, I ask you to bring some letters that you had received. I know you've just received thousands, but I did ask you to bring several letters. Could you read several of those letters for me at this time? Some are just very fascinating, but...
Well, maybe I should just say, as a preface, that being in jail, and I've been in for about 15 months now, the thousands and thousands of letters that come from people all over the world expressing their solidarity with me and all other political prisoners has been a remarkable source of strength, and both not only for me, but also for the sisters with whom I come into contact, because I always let them know what's happening on the outside, how the struggle for our freedom is advancing. This letter, it's a really beautiful letter written by a very, very young child, apparently. And it says very simply, Dear Angela Davis, my name is Sarah. I wish that you were free. This is a picture of you when you will be free. Love, Sarah. And on the other side, there's a picture that she's drawn.
Yeah. Is this Sarah? When you
well, she says it's a picture of me. You see the smile on my face. I guess that's supposed to be symbolic of freedom.
Yeah.
I get a lot of letters from very young children. This is something which is so very beautiful. A lot of people somehow have the feeling that the movement is collapsing. But I think that what is happening is that the ideas that a few people have been expressing for a long time are penetrating to the masses of people. And you have sisters and brothers who are, say, 5, 6 years old, who know of what has to be done. There's another letter that I brought along from a 10-year-old black brother, and it's a really moving letter. He says, "Dear Miss Davis, my mother gave me $5 for Christmas and told me to give it away to someone else that I felt needed it. I'm sending it to you because I read about what happened to you. I do not think you are guilty, and I hope that you can get out of prison. I'm only 10 years old, and I'm black, but from what I've heard and read, I think some people are trying to ruin your life. All those accidents, like the killing of George Jackson, were on purpose. Try to hang on. We'll have our fingers crossed." Yours truly, and he gives his name. It's a really beautiful, moving letter. And that's only one out of many that I've received from children that age.
This company is going viral for its new process that gives you permanent teeth in just 24 hours. If you're missing...
That I've received from children that age. It makes very concrete what something that Jose Marti, the apostle of the Cuban Revolution, said. He said, "Los niños son la esperanza del mundo," children are the hope of the world. And I think this is true, that we do have a revolution moving along, and it can be seen in our children, in our youth.
This really has quite an impact with you then, doesn't it? It really means a lot to you.
Well, what it does is it completely eradicates this feeling of isolation and this feeling of separation that the prisons and jails are designed to create. And that's why it's so necessary for people on the outside to seek and find ways of expressing their solidarity with sisters and brothers in prison. If it's a letter, I receive thousands of letters from sisters and brothers in prison, and I've been trying to answer, if only with a few lines, all of the letters that I get from this side of the walls. Of course, that's just a very small gesture. People on the outside have far more flexibility than we on the inside have, and should begin to develop aggressive and creative means of showing their solidarity and support and concern for all the sisters and brothers who are in here.
Mm-hmm. You've got another letter there. I see it on the desk, and I want to hear from that one also, because I think you told me it was from a brother who was in prison.
This is one of the many, many letters that I've received from my sisters and brothers in prison. This is from the Ohio Penitentiary, Ohio State Reformatory. And it says a friendship letter where the relationship is, they have to fill out forms. The letters are generally censored. Okay. The letter says, "I don't know if you will receive this letter, or even if you will be able to answer it. But my admiration for you compels me to write this letter. As you can see, I'm also in confinement, for which I have been confined for the past 21 months.
My eyesight is like..."
Then he goes on to say, "Sorry to say my crime was selfish and stupid, unarmed robbery. Since being confined, I've been allowed to go on speaking engagements. During my speeches, I have endorsed your actions. But most of these places I've spoken were churches, and they all ask one main question, which is, why is Angela Davis communist? This is a very hard question to answer, mainly because I don't feel I've been taught the true meaning of communism. This is one of my reasons for writing you.
I'm not giving up.
Hold it right there. Why
I'm not giving it up.
Actually, I think I answered that before when revolutionary is.
Many times the term communist, because I think it's been used by so many different aspects of our society to put down rather than to let people try to understand
Right.
You know, everybody shuns away from
That
it.
dude's eyelash.
It's like it's a disease or something like that. And I just, you know, what I'm trying to get through is that the brother here in that letter is raising a question. And therefore, in his question, it seems that he's trying to say that there are some people who are plagued by that, and they let that get in the way. They don't want to know Angela Davis as a person, or even if they do, that prevents them from coming to know Angela Davis.
Well, you see, now that might be true for, say, the vast majority of white people.
Yeah.
But one of the things which really impressed me when I was on the streets and fighting for my job at UCLA was that whenever I spoke to black people, whenever I spoke in the black community, very few people had hang-ups about communism. I can remember many times walking down the street and having someone stop me and say, are you Angela Davis? And I would say yes, and they would express their solidarity and say, a lot of sisters and brothers would say, even though I don't really know what communism is all about, just as a brother here said, we know that there must be something good about it, because otherwise the man wouldn't be coming down on you so hard. So I think that the resistance to understanding what communism is all about doesn't exist nearly as much in the black community as it does in the country as a whole. This letter here is an indication of that. What he's saying is that although he realizes that this country has kept away from him and many of our sisters and brothers the knowledge of what communism is, he wants to know about it. Yeah. And I'm sure that that's, when he says that that's one of the main questions that's asked, I doubt whether there's in the black community at least, whether there are huge contours of hostility.
Yeah,
it's just a desire, curiosity to know. And there's something that, what I generally say, and I answered the brother and tried to explain in a few words why I was a communist, and I said essentially the same thing that I said when I told you why I was a revolutionary, because I have a very strong love for oppressed people, for my people. I want to see them free, and I want to see all oppressed people throughout the world free.
Got that bush.
And I realize that the only way that we can do this is by moving towards a revolutionary society where the needs and the interests and the wishes of all people can be respected.
Angela, there are a number of women in prisons, aren't they?
About 14,000, I think.
Yeah. And a lot of people certainly would not even be aware of that.
Well, that's because, of course, of all the forces of male supremacy to which women have been subjected for so long in the society. Not that much attention has been directed towards women in prison, and there are a lot of women in prison. There are sisters who are in jail because of their political beliefs. There are sisters who have gone. In fact, in my experiences in New York and in Marin County and here, I go to exercise a couple of times a week at the women's prison in Santa Clara County, so I do have some contact with sisters there. One of the things that the sisters told me when I got over there was that they really wanted to spend their time while they were in jail studying so that they could make significant contributions to the liberation struggle, except that there was no available material. So one of the things that I asked some of the people from the National United Committee to do was to make an appeal to people on the outside to donate books to the sisters in Milpitas.
Yeah, I know you asked my church to make contributions, and certainly they have been sending books to the sisters at Milpitas.
Let me just give you one, I think, very striking example of the lack of attention to women's prisons. We know about the Tombs, we know about Attica, we know about San Quentin. But how much do we know about the demonstrations and the strikes that took place in the Women's House of Detention? How much do we know about the revolt that occurred at Alderson Federal Penitentiary in Virginia? How much do we know about that? How much do we know about all the unnamed sisters who are in prison today?
And it has been your contention all along that Angela Davis is not to be looked upon as a hero, but Angela Davis, along with the sisters and brothers in all prisons, must be seen in light of the struggle that's going on as it relates to the liberation.
Well, I don't see myself as any different, any more important than all of my captive sisters and brothers. And in fact, what I have attempted to do within all of these restrictions that surround me has been to draw people who have expressed support and concern for me into the struggle for all political prisoners. I've said on a number of occasions that one of the first experiences I had in this jail here, after being transferred from Marin County, was very, very revealing of what the mass struggle can do for sisters and brothers in prison. When they drove me down in the wee hours of the morning and brought me into the cell here, they took all of my clothes and made me take my underwear off, and I was sitting up in the cell, huddled in some blankets, freezing. And suddenly, a mass of letters came flowing into the jail here, protesting the conditions. And I don't know whether it was coincidental or not, but suddenly the conditions did begin to relax. One of the things that struck me then, and of course I'm constantly aware of this, is that because of the movement that has galvanized around me, there is a lot of public attention on me and my case, and there are certain kinds of things that I can directly appeal to people for. But what about all of the sisters and brothers that we've been talking about during this interview? What about all of the other thousands and thousands who are in America's prisons today? People should begin to realize that they have a responsibility to see to it that America does not head in the direction of fascism, and it begins right at the level of the prisons. That's why the prison struggle is so important, because I see it as being a signal as to what the entire society will be about in the future. And that's why I think it's in the interest of all of the people, many of whom may not know anyone personally in prison, but most black people, of course, have had some contact with the prisons. People should really begin to express themselves aggressively and boldly and demand that something be done about the prisons in this society today.
Angela, we're going to stop at this point. We've reached a time where we must. Thank you very much for this interview. Thank you for rapping with me. And I want to say goodbye to you.
Cut it off just like that. Ooh. Hold on, yeah.
Anybody over there?
I'm being 5 people right now.
Could be rooted in the concerted efforts of white supremacy.
Okay, this is right there.
Tougaloo, good evening. You all hear us okay? How you all feeling? Yeah, how am I? Thank you. I'm doing well. How are you, Professor Davis? Yeah. Help is on the way. You all stay energetic now.
All right, so I'll use this one. Good evening. As I was saying, now that I am finally here again at Tougaloo College, I'm feeling wonderful. And thank you so much for the phenomenal introduction, and thanks to all of the speakers before. I should say, may I say a few words before we enter into...
You may do whatever you like.
I spoke in this chapel some 10 years ago, in 2015, right? And I still have very vivid memories of that moment. It's been, it's inspired me over the years. I actually remember that there was a phenomenal a vocalist, an opera singer. Your daughter, yeah, you know, I still hear her voice in my memory, and I go back to that moment. But also, I, of course, know about the role that Tougaloo played in the movement. And thank you so much for keeping the tradition of the radical tradition of Tougaloo College alive. And I just also, want to emphasize that to be radical is to understand the world, is to understand not on the surface, but at the root. Radical means root. So don't forget that. If someone ever calls you radical, be proud of that. Is what we should all do. All right, I won't take over. So
this is your classroom. You see the young people taking notes right there in the front. Class is in session. You all ready? Yeah. Professor Davis, we're so thrilled that you're back here. I'm going to break from a bit of formality and ask for some crowd participation because you had a birthday on Monday. So on the count of 3, happy birthday, Professor Davis. 1, 2, this is collective, y'all. 3. That felt good. Happy birthday. As you mentioned, you've been here before. I remember 2015. I sat back there in that corner with my now 11-year-old. She had no idea what was happening, but she was in the building, and there she is now. Welcome back. You've been not only here before, but you are from what we might say is right across the street. Birmingham, Alabama. You all are our neighbors, our cousins. And we hear a lot about your political consciousness, but perhaps not as much about your upbringing in Alabama. So I wonder if you could talk to us a little bit about how growing up in Alabama shaped that political consciousness.
I am a proud Black Alabamian and aware that Mississippi is our sister state. As a matter of fact, my father was from Marengo County, which is less than 2 hours from the border. And my mother was also from deep in the country, a place called Sylacauga. So I grew up with that sense of history. Both my mother and father were educators.
Get this lip right.
They it took me a while to realize that it was following in their footsteps when I became a teacher. But education was absolutely central to the shaping of their identities. And my father didn't last very long as a school teacher because he had a family with 4 kids, and so he bought a gas station and had the only black gas station in Birmingham for a very long time, almost everybody during that era knew my father because that's the only place where they could get gas.
Safely, isn't it?
But to, abbreviate a very long and complicated story, I not only learned what it meant to identify as an advocate of struggle, but I learned that struggle always had to be collective. I grew up not so much thinking of myself as an individual who had to try to outshine, all of the other individuals in my midst, but someone who had to contribute. Whether or not those contributions were actually recognized. I also had the good fortune to be in contact with socialists, communists, when I was a very young child, because black members of the Communist Party traveled from New York to Alabama and other parts of the South. As a matter of fact, many people are not aware of the fact that black communists helped to do work in the South that paved the way for the emergence of the civil rights movement. They organized tenant farmers and workers in the mine. Birmingham is the industrial center. Birmingham, as a matter of fact, used to be called Johannesburg of the South, America's Johannesburg, because of the steel industry. And so that's when I first learned about the importance of solidarity with South Africa. I learned that if we were going to succeed in moving forward in the struggle against racism, we also had to stand up for workers' rights. I would like to say that I realized then what a vibrant movement for gender justice there was. But I had to find out about that later. But it did exist. It did exist. And we know that many activists were involved in campaigns against sexual violence directed against black women during that period. Anyway,
and it's so rich.
I tell you a lot, but when I reflect on my background, I feel so thankful that despite the regimes of segregation, I think I grew up in the best possible place for me and for struggles. I'm just so thankful that my mother, and I've told this story many times, used to tell us children when we were upset about what we could not do as a consequence of those regimes of segregation. She used to remind us that was not the way the city, the state, the country should be organized. She used to say, this is not the way things are supposed to be. And one day they will change. And you will be a part of that change. So I think I grew up knowing how to live in that world of segregation, but also inhabiting an imagined world, also inhabiting a different world.
And that has sort of been what has driven me all of my life and continues to drive me today.
That's so rich and beautiful. I'm deeply appreciative as a Black Southerner, right, a proud Black Southerner, for the nuance that you describe and really demystifying what it means to be Black and from the South. And you even mentioned gender. Being a Black Southern woman has its own realities that are not all steeped in trauma and pain, but there's beauty in the midst of that. Do you feel any resonances being in the South right now?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. The moment I sat down in
you were at home.
Mississippi, I said, I'm home.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm meeting the son of my good friend Chokwe Lumumba, and I'm re-experiencing so many moments, and I really deeply thank you for inviting me to spend this time here in Jackson and at Tougaloo. And thank all of you for carrying that legacy forward.
The invitation is open, right? You are home. You talk in freedom as a constant struggle about freedom not being a destination, but a practice towards liberation. Talk to us about what practicing freedom could and should look like for us in Mississippi, perhaps for our cousins in Alabama, and the South in general. What does it look like to practice freedom in the way that you sort of described from your upbringing amid regimes that are still very present, that represent our oppression?
Well, first of all, I'm so happy that this event is sponsored by Mississippi for a Just World. When I think from Mississippi to Palestine, that gives us a sense of the breadth of the practice of freedom. Freedom is a practice. It is not a destination. We often think of freedom as a place, or as a time, or as something to be achieved. But when we get there, what do we do?
How do you know what it is?
I mean, do you just stop? That would be rather boring, wouldn't it? I mean, the Palestinians have taught us how important it is to engage fully in the practice of freedom. And that practice is a continual practice. That practice is not an individual practice. And living in the capitalist United States of America, we tend to imbibe the individualism that has made it difficult for us to really understand what human beings are supposed to be and the social essence of humans. Not only humans, but all of the other non-human beings with whom we cohabit of this planet. We are not primarily individuals. We are social beings, which is not to say that we have no individuality, because there are so many beautiful individual ways of engaging in the practice of freedom. So to be opposed to individualism is also to embrace individuality. And let's remember that dialectic. And so I would say, yes, as the Palestinians have taught us, freedom is a collective practice. It is a practice that is not to be engaged in only for the sake of achieving a particular goal at a particular moment. It is a practice that continually broadens itself, that multiplies itself, that has to be taken up by others in order to fulfill itself. I often mention a conversation I had with a Palestinian man who was a shopkeeper when I visited Palestine some years ago. I was in the I was on the West Bank and was talking to this man who told me that as long as there was a single olive tree left in Palestine, he and his people would continue to engage in the struggle for freedom. And I have never forgotten that. But to summarize, let's remember that freedom is not a goal. We often think of it as a goal. And as Nelson Mandela pointed out, on that long walk to freedom, you think you may have arrived, but when you look ahead, you see new vistas. And finally, I think I would say that in the process of engaging in that freedom practice, we acquire more awareness and knowledge of the very nature of freedom. We cannot imagine now how people 50 years from now are going to be positing their ideas of freedom, are going to be engaged in those struggles. I often like to use the example of the importance of standing with the trans community today. In 1964, during Mississippi Freedom Summer, we probably could not have imagined how important it would be during this period, how important it would be to stand with trans people, how significant a dimension of freedom that is. And so I think we will continue to broaden our sense of the nature of freedom. And that can only happen if we are engaging in the collective practice of freedom.
So, participate. So I'm interested because if you talk about freedom as a practice, that it occurs to me as what you described as what your parents were doing, opening up a gas station so that black folk in Birmingham had a place to safely exchange goods and get what they needed, and your mother never letting you once think that it was normal for you to be oppressed in the way that you were, or for our people to be oppressed in that way. And so to me, that strikes me as the practice of freedom even amid those really deleterious circumstances. You mentioned in the book that there were freedom fighters who gave us blueprints to help us to shape and strategize these current and contemporary freedom movements. So, I mean, your parents are on that list, because that was a freedom fight in itself, to be a business owner and an educator, and to even just educate your own children around their rights. But what other freedom fighters come to mind when you think about the blueprint that we have, sort of the talisman that's left for us to shape contemporary freedom movements, especially in the South?
Well, I think it would take me too long to name
the short list, the crib notes of that.
But you know, I think, you know, first I would say that maybe we shouldn't use the word blueprint, because we are often looking for blueprints that tell us exactly what we have to do. But as the world changes, and largely as a consequence of the struggles we engage in,
I'm off. Yeah, get that eyebrow right.
Yeah, new strategies are necessary, and we can't be held back by trying to hold on to the way other people did it. And you know, we have such wonderful foremothers and forefathers and foresiblings. Is that a word?
It is now. 4 siblings. You heard it here first.
Who have inspired us and who have taught us. So I like to think about learning from and being inspired by, all of those who came before us. And Mississippi has a long, long line of ancestors. But I also, as an elder myself, and it's kind of hard when you're young to imagine yourself becoming an elder, right? And even when you're old, it's kind of hard to imagine yourself being an elder.
Although that is the goal. We want to make it to elderhood.
But to remember that we learn from those who came before us. We learn from
get the lips
Fannie
right.
Lehman, who told us that nobody is free unless everyone is free. And we learn from Medgar Evers. And we learn from Martin Luther King. We learn from so many people.
Oh, bring your tail up. I don't know what happened to Belle.
From those who are still here. That's right. We also have to learn from those who are fighting for their future.
Baby, so I can't see straight.
We have to learn from the young.
I'm trying to figure out who it is.
And the ancestors.
I can't figure out who that is.
I don't believe you. I know. I just showed you who
I
it was.
know, but I can't.
Oh, that's an embarrassment.
No.
For you it is.
Oh my goodness.
For you, Angela, I'm playing her video. You don't recognize her voice?
I was just trying to. I told you, Rodney, that's who it was. What's her name? We were just watching her the other night.
I supposed to had a couple people that had taken her course up here. I gotta get my lip right and do that eyebrow that's sticking up.
That's it. You got it right there.
Right here?
Uh-huh.
I gotta get that eye. I gotta position my camera down to face up.
Mm-hmm.
But I got the eyelashes. I'm using my own eyelashes to extend that. But the wig was my big challenge. It had big shoulder tip or curl. These.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me see. Hands. And create those dimples.
You know I'm screenshotting.
I hear you. Wait a minute.
Look, Rodney. Do it. Look now. She holding it up higher.
But that's not who you think it is.
So this is this video right here. Her whole head is white. Wait a minute. But I found this to study, and on my YouTube channel, it's gonna be a list of all the speeches on the playlist, and my eyes are not working right tonight, but see.
Dr. Davis, welcome to Explorations in Black Leadership. We're glad to have you.
Thank you so much
That's
for
wrong
inviting me.
one.
No, it's
Where
our
did it go?
pleasure. Let me begin with the Brown decision.
Angela Davis.
Babe, would you believe that that's the
Yeah.
backyard?
See her?
No.
Her whole head is white. And more wrinkles. Her neck and her all around in here.
Would you believe
but
that
I
that
didn't
was the
see
basement?
that picture till right here. It's okay. But
okay.
I like this interview here. It gives the background of her, her childhood and her parents. So I got a whole slew. Everybody go to my YouTube channel. You can see all these speeches right here that I've chosen to study, understand her. I got to do a couple small clips for Sister Ira.
Thank you all for coming.
Hey, Rodney. Where you go?
Okay, now. She
Huh?
can't see you. Just say hi.
Hi.
Oh, no, he did.
No, he thought you could see him. I said, no, she can't see you.
I can't see you. Now, if I want to, I put on the third eye. But I was trying to get this and the increase here, right here, and her lips are bigger than mine. So I extend my lips out further. And the bottom, those that want to know, and then I shorten my eyebrows off, cut it off here. This one's supposed to be straight, so I got to correct that part. And
this is how we got this house.
I cut this off here. Anyway, and this eyelash got to be a little thicker than this one. It's like a lazy eye, I think. So this lip got to go over it. Is that Beth? Girl, should I fire Beth?
She came on. I text her.
Beth, I know. Got me struggling. Can't even see straight.
Sorry about that.
I couldn't even see straight. I like, Lord have mercy, busy looking for you.
I know. I was like, oh my God. What time is it? Oh, you look so pretty.
Is she at the game.
Hey, Zena.
Hey, where you at, Beth?
I'm out eating.
Oh, you told me.
Oh, Lord.
I had went out to eat.
Oh, okay.
Should have told me.
I was like, oh my God.
Should have told me.
Beth.
It was last minute.
Beth.
Rodney talking to you,
Rodney.
Beth.
Hey, where you at?
Cheddars.
You where?
Cheddars.
Why we ain't heard from you or talked to you?
Who ain't heard from me? Who haven't heard from me?
Me.
You haven't heard from me?
No.
I talked to Zena.
You talked to Zena, you ain't talked to me.
I know. Sorry about that.
Well, Bill, create a basket.
Look at my baby.
Y'all needed the basket for Valentine. You better go get them now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I found the glass.
You never did bring my strawberry lemonade. all on one or separate? But she still gonna be all on one.
I'm gonna do this in black and white too.
Alright, so I took everything but the cover lemonade. It's really gonna be a That's nice.
And I'm gonna tell you my opinion during these days right now. Gotta get it together. All for one and one for all. It's about love. It's about individuality and pulling together as one. You understand?
That's nice.
I gotta remember that finger. Oh, I gotta show the light. I got some short arms, I realize. Oh, short as heck. Okay, so I got to straighten up the eyebrow up there. And what else I said? Was the eyebrow go straight? Eyebrow go straight. Okay. A little further. Hey, potato pie lady. How you? How mama doing? Where you at? I'm trying to invite you in. Get hot. Okay. Yeah. What else I said I was gonna do, y'all? What else I will miss? Dang, got that quick. Everybody got quiet. Okay.
But I sensed that there was something really wrong. I didn't have the language.
I forgot what else I had to touch
knew
up.
that I hadn't moved beyond racism. And so I was studying French, reading French literature, and I was really taken by liberté, égalité, fraternité. And I said, oh, okay. It may not be here in New York, but if I could only make it to France, I can find it. So I went to France, I went to Paris.
Did y'all know that about her?
And
I ain't know that part.
I remember a conversation I had with these sisters from Martinique, who told me that, you really have to watch out.
Thank you, Ben.
Because
you making up. No, give me a plate where you at and bring them off.
Careful. So, as a consequence, I started to check out what was happening in Algeria and the demonstrations that were going on at that time. And I found France Fanon, Les Damnés de la Terre, and read that. So all of which is to say that I thought I was going to find some better version of freedom, but
thank you.
Instead of finding that, I found international solidarity. I found the Algerian Revolution, and then and since then, I did that wrong. By solidarity, and I should just say one other thing. I don't want to talk too much, but.
No such thing.
You know, at some point, I end up in jail.
I would have told you not.
The story. I wrote an autobiography. So you read that. I ended up in jail, charged, I'm saying this to the young people, charged with 3 capital crimes. Charged with murder, kidnapping, and conspiracy. And I was facing the death penalty. And what rescued me from the gas chamber was international solidarity. Because people all over the world getting involved in the campaign for my freedom.
Those existing, she still lives.
Including in Palestine. As a matter of fact, I received a solidarity message from Palestinian political prisoners who had smuggled it out of the Israeli jail they were in, and then my attorneys brought it in.
They're having it back there, and look what's going on now.
I was incarcerated.
Ain't that so?
So that's a very abbreviated
make sure if you're listening, make sure you go to my YouTube channel, Rachel Pope #7. Subscribe. Oh yeah, I got a picture. Yeah. You gotta subscribe to get your name in here.
Is there more?
Every other month, I'm coming pull
what meaningful solidarity looks like, especially considering the things that seemingly divide us, right? Social position and multiple identities in different spaces. What does meaningful solidarity look like?
Well, you know, solidarity is always freely given.
Freely
given. It is, one never expects anything in exchange for solidarity. It is not a relationship that is defined by exchange. And solidarity is, I would say, an absolutely essential element of the collective practice of freedom. One cannot be free alone. And this is, if you want to understand why the state of Israel is so deeply opposed to the practice of freedom.
Black.
Ask yourself.
Wait a minute. I think I know who this is.
And all that you've heard
she
about.
Is, I'm assuming. Hold up.
What Israel has done.
I think I know who this is.
Can you think of one example?
I think she's part of the
where they have
COVID
assisted another people.
Congratulations.
To achieve their freedom.
Barfield.
The narcissistic
Black
quality
on the YouTube channel.
Of
Go subscribe.
The way in which
subscribe.
I'm not talking about all Israelis, because there are Israelis who have engaged in solidarity with Palestine. I'm talking about the state of Israel. Can you give me one example of gestures that have been made by the state of Israel toward helping another people. One example that is not solipsistically focused on representing the Jewish people as the a target
Thank you, Zena and Beth, for the light
a form
and the
of
gift.
oppression that has no equal in
And
the
Zena, I
world.
got transfers some
When
gift
you
to
begin
you
to
and
play
Rodney for
those
y'all show.
oppression Olympics, when you begin to talk about you're the most oppressed, your people are the most oppressed in the world, then that means you don't really understand.
Say that again, Ray.
I said, I got to send you the gift for y'all podcast.
Oh, okay.
On TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I got to transfer that over to y'all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And thanks to Beth. I think she is the one. She the gift giver.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She's gonna
Okay.
be.
Huh?
She's gonna be. She's gonna have a vendor up at the play.
She got it.
Oh, okay.
We got a table for her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she.
I thought Ryder gonna hit a note and sing.
Everybody, they was putting it in the comments.
Old
I said, he
MacDonald
gonna
had a
break out.
farm.
What you say, Ryder?
Old MacDonald had a farm.
You know what? He's funny. That was pretty cool. That food looked good. Even though I did you put that together, Z?
Yeah, I did the whole thing, a chicory board.
Babe.
Oh, that's what that was. That looks good.
Babe, that's a man.
Oh, our boy called me today too.
You what?
John.
Did you know that? Oh, what'd you say?
I said, John called me today to see if I need anything.
Oh, he called you again?
Yeah, that was really nice. I
I
told him
might got a
no.
little crush on you. I don't know. You better watch out.
He's just being a concerned neighbor, that's all. John is a sweetheart. He
always
come in there looking for me or
Yeah.
That look like a man.
He was on his way home. He gonna
You do?
Yeah.
I didn't
He
know
is
it
a
was
nice. He is nice though. He is nice.
Yeah, he is.
I must be talking to you.
Yeah.
Hold up. Yeah, he was. He's John. That's just who he is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad he did that. Yeah.
Like breath of fresh. But let me tell you who he sound like. You remember Dick Van Dyke?
Mm-hmm.
He sound like Vic. That every time he talk, you can
He
hear.
sound like Dick Van Dyke.
Yeah, you can feel the smile on his face. Very cheerful.
Mm-hmm.
Type of good people. Hey, Desire. Oh, she at work. She can't come out here. I thought I was trying to get the sweet potato pie lady. She was in here a couple times. Y'all need to check her out for Friday night. I mean, sweet potato. You driving home?
Tell her to come on the show.
Yeah.
Tell her we invite her to come on the show.
Sweet potato lady?
Yeah.
Yeah. She going around selling at the bars now. She's a caregiver now, taking care of her mom as well. Hold on, y'all. You need to have Angela Davis on your show.
Who is Angela Davis?
She's a political activist.
Rodney, the Black Panther.
Oh, you got her.
Members got arrested.
You got connection with her.
I know somebody.
Okay, see if you can make it happen.
I gotta see make that happen.
Hey,
Wait a minute.
think about the man.
Hold on, y'all. Hey, can you operate the phone? What you say, Rodney? I try to find them to be up here. It took her class and stuff.
Oh, so Rachel, my apologies. I didn't know you were live.
Yeah, that's why
You
we
know what?
doing who am I?
Oh.
You know what? What you thought I was doing?
Oh, you know what? I thought we was just having our general conversation.
I didn't put her back on so you can see her. Who am I?
Rodney,
show him that picture of Angela. Angela.
Okay.
Oh, I can pull her up.
The one I'm trying to be like. Right here. Rodney. Not paying attention. I got made to do. I got to position my camera under. Anyway, it's that eyeball. You see her? He ain't saying that.
Oh, okay.
I try to get the wig right. Her hair texture is like mine. It's just mine ain't thick.
But you need
And
to
I'm
tilt your
scared to
head.
tease my hair. My hair might fall out.
You got to tilt your head the other way so you can get her.
Okay.
Okay. Tilt to the right. There you go. Tilt just a little more and bring your chin down. That's it. There you go, right there. Now, look.
Stay like that, Rachel. I'm going to screenshot it. Raise the phone. Raise it up a little higher. Right there. Yeah.
I messed up my eye.
I got it.
Oh.
You got it.
It's hard to open one eye and close the other one. And have this eyebrow to go up. Majority of the time, this is my daddy eyebrow right here. Now, I ain't got no problem with that one. It's this one. There you go. Like I'm excited, but I got to get that one eye over. There you go, right there. That's it. Yeah. So I got set up my background. Okay. So Sister Ayo having her Black Love Day, y'all. With 33 years. February the 13th. From I think it's from 1 to 9 p.m. And she want me to she liked the mask look. She liked Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. I said, I'm going to do one right here with Angela Davis to kind of pour into the love part. Unity.
You doing it live or she?
She doing it on Zoom, I believe, like she did years ago. She been doing that. Yeah, she got a lot going on. Good moon. But I'm proud of her though.
Katrina canceled her event.
Yeah.
Katrina, she canceled her event.
I know. Yep. Yeah. What day was that? 21st?
Yeah, I think was it March?
Yeah. God, y'all, they talk about more storms coming. Mama was
Oh,
saying it was snowing real. It's soft snow, but they getting a lot of, what they said. They said maybe probably up to 16 inches or so. Uh, anyway,
were they talking about that here?
North Carolina is going on as we speak.
Yeah, it's in South Carolina too. They getting it.
Yeah, all the area in Florida getting the freeze, temperature, ice.
Hmm.
And I think we're gonna get what 3 more storms are coming, Arctic storms. Mm, anyway,
Here?
everybody
Oh, now you
ready?
talking about down south?
Now, no, 3 more coming. Two other ones are coming. The
Did
wind might shift it up to miss us, but it's like Midwest from Canada coming down. But it look like it'll swing across the Great Lakes toward Boston. Or if not, if the wind shifts, then it's going to come down towards us, going out to the sea.
What's that on the side hanging? Oh, that's a.
Wow. Did y'all see the man using a chainsaw to cut the ice in the driveway? He used a chainsaw, cut blocks of ice off the driveway.
Well, that's basically what you needed because it's so hard.
Yeah, all that ice. What, about 3 to 4 inches of it?
Mm.
There's some people cars still trapped under that stuff. It's messed up. But it is what it is.
Mm.
Look, I ain't gonna say that, but I'm already in trouble. But y'all laying low tonight. What's for dinner?
Yeah, already had it. We had hey, what do we have? Oxtail.
Oxtail.
Oxtails with red beans and rice and curry chicken with
You made
vegetables.
that?
No.
I ain't never had that.
Oxtail is so good. And no, it tastes like beef. You eating beef. That's all it tastes like.
My mama love that. I'm gonna make the seafood gumbo. We'll at least get started tomorrow.
Oh, I gotta call your mother because she called me. I missed her call. I was
You
out of
did.
it.
Yeah, I would let her know you was resting.
That's probably
She
why
did
she
tell me
called.
she tried to call you, see how you doing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but I just want to say hi to everybody. Thank you for coming in, checking in on a sister. Uh-huh. I guess I see y'all in a couple more months, every 3 months, that is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so sister got to take breaks. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
get everything together and understand the person. So, anyway, oh, and I've been interviewed, I don't forgot the name of the magazine, but they in Baltimore. Voyager. Voyager magazine is called The Hidden Gems.
Yeah.
So to
Oh,
tell
that's
my
good.
story. Yeah, so I gotta get that done, get the pictures done. That's why you've been seeing my little AI photo sessions.
Mm-hmm.
you, you see I ain't see you the latest one.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Send it.
Yeah. Yep. So I'm trying to lay the book out and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
would just be hard, so yeah. And just give a little bits and tips of the stories of the artwork and stuff. So I'm proud of myself in some other projects. So
You should be.
I know how to entertain myself, that's for sure. Anyway, and Rodney,
Yes.
I ain't forget my grits and stuff. Just thought I'd throw that out there. Throw that out there.
Grits.
Yeah. Yeah. Every time I see grits, I think about you. Grits in a hot pan.
He ain't paying you
Oh,
no
Lord.
attention right now. You
He
heard what you
what?
said.
Hey,
He ain't
Nancy. What?
answering.
Yeah, let's see if she can come in here. What? I don't even see her to bring her up. She peeping in. Stop being a peekaboo friend on the outside on curtains. Come on in the house. Oh, Beth is gone again. Beth, oh yeah, I forgot. She hanging out. What she say she
I
was
gotta
at?
get off it because I gotta take my medicine at 9 and
What she say she was at? Chili's? What
she's
Beth
at
said she was at?
she's at Cheddar's.
Cheddar's.
Yeah, it's good. The food good in there.
Is that new?
Yeah, no, I mean it may be new here, but I went to it when I was in Philly. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Okay, so
good.
you got pictures of me, right?
I'll
I'm
send
glad you
them.
did that because I said, how the heck I'm gonna take that picture with my hand up and
Yeah, I got it.
you got it. Send it to me and I edit it and try to download this here and go make sure I do this a little better. I appreciate y'all coming in.
I'm surprised I ain't
My
been
Bessie
coughing.
Bessie's
Maybe
friends.
I
My
ain't been
Bessie
coughing.
Bessie friends. Huh?
I said I'm surprised I ain't been coughing, but maybe because I had used my inhaler and stuff. But I ain't
I'm
been
about to
coughing.
say all that stuff you should not be.
Yeah, I was coughing like crazy. Oh, excuse me, making me sleepy now.
Yeah, yeah, right. Now we're getting on her case.
Mm-hmm. But I didn't. I wasn't on the. I wasn't on last night. I was behind the scenes, just making
I
sure.
know you were.
You know.
Y'all my friends now. You need to listen to the body talk. Is there a song like that?
Listen to my body talk.
Rodney, sing the song.
What's trying to say?
Listen to my body talk.
What?
Listen to my body talk. My
That song don't go
body
like.
can tell you.
That's not the song.
You said sing.
It's a song. I forgot who's singing that.
The disco song.
Yeah.
Listen to my body talk.
My
Body talk.
body talk.
Well, y'all ain't gonna get it.
We
What?
know the song, we just can't sing it.
Yeah, but people do need to listen to the body talk for real. Seriously, that's to all of y'all. When your body talking to you, try to tell you, check it out. Just like your car, you know. Your check light, come on, it's trying to tell you. That gauge said my body talking to you. I need some oil. Oh, wait a minute. I found out that if you put some rubber alcohol, in your windshield wiper solution, it helps melt the ice. Did you know that? Oh,
We
yeah.
was glad to be able to park the car in the garage.
Oh, good. That's a blessing. For real. But, Okay, I was trying to close this out, wasn't I?
Mhm.
Went a whole nother direction. Don't be doing that, y'all. They try to tell me that I'm bored. It's time for me to get off this thing. And I'm going to,
Not for me. Mine is medication.
she,
His
when
is
she take
decided.
medication, she had the flu and
Yeah.
she has asthma. That's what she's talking about. Let's make that
Mhm.
clear.
Mhm.
Right. Just to make
Yeah.
that clear with the AI up here.
Yeah. Make it clear.
Now I
Yeah.
see, what's that, Jaylyn and friend? Jaylyn, you a young little girl up here. I had to check you out. Your grandma is a pope. You don't supposed to be in an adult room. I'm gonna tell your mom on you. You ain't think I check you out, cause I saw with little girls. Yeah, y'all playing up there. Y'all don't supposed to be doing that. You gonna get in trouble and not have no daggone TikTok page. Got to follow the rules now.
Look at that. That's one
I appreciate you looking, but you know what? I don't want you to get in trouble.
Mhm.
Cause your show ain't 20 or 18 at all. So you sneaking on your mama's account. I'm gonna find out. Or your grandma account. Y'all know you wrong. Anyway, okay, that was Nana Rachel talking. All right, y'all. I'm gonna say good night. My look's supposed to be Angela Davis and the legendary and so many levels of her life. And she still exists with us today. Okay.
All right, Angela, we're trying to get you on the program. Come join us. People to
You hear
people,
that?
power to power, positive thinking people. PTP for life.
PTP. That's what that means, y'all. We signing out, Saranada. However you pronounce that.
Maranata.
Thank you for checking me out. Okay. Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Okay.